Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Just minutes ago in Minneapolis, Michael Kadire hit a solo home run with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th inning to give the Twins the lead over the Royals, and then Joe Nathan did the rest, striking out Martin for the final out, and the Twins defeat the Kansas City Royals today 5-4 to keep the pressure on the Tigers. Quite simple. The Tigers have to win here tonight to keep their one-game lead in the Central. It is a cool, overcast night for baseball here in the Motor City. Game 2 in this series featuring the Tigers and the Chicago White Sox. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Ron Allen, glad to have you with us for the middle game in this series. A little bit of a delay to the ball game tonight. We will have baseball here, though, and we'll do it under some stressful situations. There is no question about that. The Minnesota win today keeps the pressure on the Tigers, Ron, and they will throw a rookie on the mound. 25-year-old Alfredo Figueroa, he'll get the start tonight against the White Sox.
Well, the rainout on Monday against the Twins really hurt the Tigers in that regard because they could have ran Rick Porcello out there for the game today, but you can't look back to that situation. Figueroa simply has to go out there and do what he does best. He's got a fastball in the mid-90s. He also has a slider that's outstanding. He will need to use some changeups today. He'll have to keep some of these White Sox hitters off balance. They have one of the best fastball hitting teams in the league, and Figueroa simply will not be able to throw fastballs by them all night long. He simply must try to keep them off balance, but without question, he is making his biggest start of his young professional career.
And he was very good in relief against the Chicago White Sox last week in Chicago. Now, Freddie Garcia goes tonight for the White Sox. He was really good for most of the game in his last start against Detroit, and the Tigers finally got to him, beat him up pretty good.
Well, the only pitcher coming out of Venezuela that has won more games in his career than Freddie Garcia is Johan Santana, and that's only by 2 wins. Johan has 122, but Freddie's one big game pitcher. He will go out there and give the Tigers his best today. But 5 days ago when they ran up against Freddie, he was cruising. The only one that really had a chance to touch him early in the game was Cabrera. But then once they got to the 6th inning, he was pitching in a little bit of a stress, and that was after the home run in the 5th. But Ozzie Guillen made a trip to the mound in the 6th inning with a couple of outs, and Everett comes up huge with a big base hit. Then you've got Granderson that follows with another big hit as well, and that was the day for Freddie. One thing about Garcia, he keeps the ball out of the middle of the plate. The Tigers have to make him get the ball up, and they cannot swing at some of the borderline pitches that are inside and outside against Garcia here tonight.
Well, one thing is for sure, the Tigers have to get the bats going. They managed only 3 hits in the ball game last night. As Jim Leland says, don't worry about what the other guys are doing. You're not going to get any help. You need to win these 2 games, and the Tigers certainly didn't get any help earlier this afternoon at the Metrodome. We'll step aside, come back with more here at Comerica Park. It'll be Game 2 in this series featuring the Tigers and the Chicago White Sox. More coming up after this. Game series for the Tigers down the stretch here. The Tigers certainly need a victory here tonight with the Minnesota win this afternoon at the Metrodome. With more on what the Tigers need to do the next couple of days and Jim Leland's take on this whole thing, let's send it down to Mickey York. Mick?
Well, Mario, he was right. The manager usually dead on with these things. He prophesied that the Tigers would not get any help from the Twins in Minnesota today, and that did end up bearing fruit. So if ever there was a time for a fire and brimstone speech from the skip, you figure now would be the time. But he says as far as rah-rah speeches go, his team isn't going to get anything from him in that regard.
You know, when people start talking about that stuff, it all sounds good. That's all storybook stuff. It's good reading material. I mean, what does a manager need to tell a team that needs to win 2 games to win a division title? Because you're not going to, I mean, if they don't know that, then, you know, I mean, we got a real big problem. This is not, you know, Newt Rockne, you know, Saturdays and Saturday, and this is professional baseball. I mean, you know, I did tell him after the game tonight, you're not going to get any help. Don't expect it. And if you want to win the division, you got to win 2 games. It's that simple. You know, but I'm not in a meeting. I mean, just walking through the clubhouse. It's that simple. I mean, I'm sure they can figure that out.
The skipper, as usual, doesn't mince words. And as we welcome back Mario Pemba and Rod Allen now, guys, I don't know what he can say in this situation. There's really nothing left to say. You just got to go out and get the job done, don't you?
Well, he's right. You know, this isn't college football where you need Newt Rockne or Lou Holtz to make this tremendous speech before a big game on a Saturday, Rod. These are professional baseball players that play 162 games over the course of the season. They know what's at stake. And you really shouldn't have to motivate him in a situation like this.
Jim also has the luxury, although Figueroa is starting today, he's got a veteran-laden lineup. He's got guys that have played in the World Series. He's got guys that have played in the WBC, the World Baseball Classic. He's got guys that have made lots of all-star teams and have tremendous numbers on the back of their bubblegum card. So trust me, they've watched that Minnesota Twins game. They simply have to go out and win 1 baseball game here tonight, and that's all they're concerned about.
And guys, of course, there is a baseball game yet to be played here tonight, but one question has been answered: whether or not Justin Verlander is going to pitch tomorrow. We now know he will.
Yeah, and you know what? I think the Tigers certainly wanted to save Verlander for Game 1 of the series against New York, if it indeed happens for the Detroit Tigers, but they don't have that luxury anymore, and that's just simply the way it has gone. They've kind of made their bed right now. Now they just want to get in, and at least you have the horse going tomorrow.
Well, you look back to 2006 where they had to pitch Bonderman in that final weekend series against the Kansas City Royals, and they had to start the playoffs with Nate Robertson. They still were able to get through that. You simply have to get in, then you take your chances. And if they do need Verlander tomorrow, which they will need now, hopefully he can go out and step up and be big as he always has been after a Tigers loss or a win this year.
We expect to get this ball game underway shortly. More with Mario Pemba and Rod Allen in just a moment as we continue here from Comerica Park. Game 2 between the Tigers and White Sox coming up next on Fox Sports Detroit. Tonight is the night. It has to be for the Tigers. The drama continues right after this. His third start of the year, 2-1 so far for Alfredo Figueroa. As we take a look at the lineups he'll be facing on the Chicago side of things this evening, on the White Sox side of things, pardon me. Scott Podsednik led off last night's game with a home run, the first time he's done that since 2004. Gordon Beckham now leads All-American League rookies with 28 RBI this season, and A.J. Przinsky hitting .303 out of the catching spot for the Sox. He's followed by Konerko, Carlos Quinton, Kotze, Rios, Ramirez, and Lillibridge. As for the Tigers, Curtis Granderson leading off and playing center field, followed by Placido Polanco. Maglio Ordonez hitting .444 over his last 10 games. It's a 10-game hitting streak now for Mags. Miguel Cabrera cleaning up, followed by Carlos Guillen and Aubrey Huff in an 0-for-9 slump, but he has traditionally hit Sox starter Freddie Garcia well. Brandon Inge, Gerald Laird, and Adam Everett close out the Tigers lineup. Tigers and White Sox set to get going here in Game 2 in just a couple of moments. The Tigers in a must-win situation after the Twins knocked off the Royals earlier today in Minneapolis. Freddie Garcia, 15-5 lifetime against the Tigers. We're going to get it underway in just a moment. But we expect the White Sox and Tigers to get underway momentarily. And when they do, Alfredo Figueroa will be making just his third start of the season and his first since June 28th. He had actually headed back to the Dominican Republic to play winter ball before the Tigers asked him to come back to the team. And they're hoping tonight he can be as good as he was during 2 2/3 innings of scoreless relief against the White Sox a week ago.
I got a lot of faith in him. I mean, he's come up, he's had success. He pitched through two, quality innings against him last time we faced him. So, he has a good idea what he's doing. So I'm just going to go out there and do the best I can with him and try to put him in good situations, and I have all the faith in the world in him.
Is there anything you say to him to calm him down, to keep his nerves in check in a situation like this?
No, I'm just going to let him go about his business, like another start. He knows what it's about. He seems real confident, and he seems real calm, so I don't want to kind of give him too much to think about. So I'm just going to let him go out there, pitch, and I'm sure he's going to be fine.
A lot of faith with him. Talk to him every day about the game, situation, the game, and how you have to prepare every day to come to play the game.
Be nice to have a 1-2 cousin punch tonight to knock out these White Sox. Huh?
I'm telling you, if you throw A and throw night, it's the way they say. Yeah.
And then go out to dinner afterwards and talk about it.
Yeah, we'll have a dinner after that, after the game.
Alfredo Figueroa and Fernando Rodney, second cousins, and we welcome back my brothers from another mother right now, Mario and Pemba and Rod Allen. And guys, look, Jim Leland admitted it's not an ideal situation to have Figueroa going in such a huge game out here tonight, but they really don't have another choice, and it's not like they don't like the kid, that they believe in his stuff.
Yeah, they really do. And Jim Leland said before the game today, Rick Porcello will not throw a single pitch in this game. He was asked very early on in his media session this afternoon, and he said, no, it's going to be Figueroa. We'll see what happens after that. But, Rod, the one thing that I think Alfredo has going for him is that he has Gerald Laird catching for him tonight, and the veteran should be able to hopefully get him through 5, maybe 6 innings.
And Gerald knows the Chicago White Sox team, and one of the things that Gerald will preach to the youngster Figueroa, he has to get strike one. You can't put yourself in a situation where you're forced into trying to throw fastballs by an outstanding fastball hitting team. So Gerald Laird will lead him today. He'll call some off-speed pitches. He'll try to keep some guys off balance, but a clearly huge start for the youngster Figueroa.
No doubt about it. We look forward to it, guys. Mario, Rob, put on the headsets. We're getting ready to play ball.
All right, Mick.
All right, we'll see you guys in just a couple of minutes. The Tigers and White Sox coming up next here on Fox Sports Detroit. Mario and Pemba and Rod Allen will call the action for you. We'll see you right back here after the game for Tigers Live. I'm Mickey York. Enjoy your ball game, everybody.
Well, the heat is on here at the ballpark tonight. The Tigers and the Chicago White Sox, Game 2 in this season-ending 3-game series. The Minnesota Twins a winner this afternoon at the Metrodome against the Kansas City Royals. So the Tigers' lead coming into this one tonight is just 1/2 game in the Central Division. And Ozzie Guillen and the Chicago White Sox had a pretty good ball game last night in the opener. And here is their starting lineup tonight. It is presented by the Romani Eye Institute. For Chicago this evening, Scott Podsednik will lead it off. He'll play in center field. Gordon Beckham is batting second and playing third base. A.J. Pierzynski will catch. He'll bat third. Paul Konerko is the designated hitter. Meanwhile, Carlos Quentin this season against the Tigers at .289. Other good numbers as well. He'll play in left field. Mark Kotsay is opening up at first base in a bottom three. The right fielder Alex Rios, the shortstop Alexi Ramirez, and the second baseman Brent Lillibridge. Well, the Tigers have taken the field, and among them is Alfredo Figueroa in our Dodge scouting report.
Well, if the Tigers are going to hold a slim lead over the Minnesota Twins, it will be up to Figueroa to go out there and pitch an outstanding ball game, and he needs some help from his offense as well. The pennant is on the line. He needs a repeat performance. Last time he told the rubber against the White Sox he was sensational in a game that looked lopsided at the beginning, but he was the one that was able to settle it down, and the Tigers came back to win that game. And also, he'll need to use his entire arsenal here tonight, the fastball, the slider, and he'll need to be deceptive with his changeup as well. Let's take a look at the defense that Jim Leland has run out there tonight against the Chicago White Sox. This is a team, once again, as you would imagine, with Guillen and Granderson and Ordonez in the outfield. Inge, Everett, Polanco, Cabrera, they round out the infield. And Gerald Laird will be very important in this game tonight, leading the youngster every step of the way. Figueroa will not be shaking Laird off here tonight.
What do you see? And the number is Alfredo Figueroa. This is his 5th overall appearance, just his 3rd start, though.
Well, one of the wins that he did have this year came in his major league debut against an outstanding offensive club in the other league, the Milwaukee Brewers. He had 7 strikeouts in that game. He didn't work all that efficiently in the strike zone, but when he needed to reach back with a good fastball, he was able to do so.
Double-A Erie this year, a record of 6-3, an earned run average of 3.60, and really had a nice year. In fact, was twice the pitcher of the week in the Eastern League at Erie. So the 25-year-old right-hander out of Samana in the Dominican Republic set to go to work in the biggest start of his professional career, and he'll miss down low to Scott Podsednik, and tonight's game is underway. It'll be Podsednik, Gordon Beckham, and A.J. Pierzynski. Figueroa's 1-0 pitch. There's a strike on the inside part of the plate. 1-1 on Podsednik.
There is nothing more lethal than a good baseball team, which the White Sox are, that has a chance to play loose. They have nothing at stake here tonight other than trying to beat the Tigers.
And there's a base hit to center field for Podsednik. Right off the end of the bat into shallow center, and the leadoff man is on tonight for Chicago.
Meanwhile, on the other side, there's a lot of tension, not only on the field with the Tigers, but in that Tigers dugout. Must-win situation for them.
Podsednik having himself quite a series, already now 4 for 5 with his base hit in this one. Jim Leland hoping that his team comes out as loose as possible tonight, but they certainly know what's ahead of them. They need to win, otherwise we're tied up with 1 game to go. Wave and a miss by Gordon Beckham.
Very important for Figueroa not to pay too much attention to Podsednik over at first base. Podsednik can steal a base, but you cannot be preoccupied with him. When you decide to throw the ball home to a dangerous hitter in Beckham, that's where all of your concentration needs to be, on getting him out and making a quality pitch.
0-2 on Beckham.
Gerald Laird's a big boy. He can handle it himself if Podsednik's in a running mood here in the first inning.
Gerald Laird in the ballgame caught Podsednik last night, trying to steal. The 0-2 just off the plate, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
A lot of times in these situations, if you're in Podsednik and you're entertaining the thought of running, you kind of guess you're going to get a breaking ball, and this is a breaking ball count, especially with Figueroa on the mound.
Nice scoop on the backhand by Laird. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that would have been a nice pitch for Podsednik to run on.
Absolutely.
He has 29 steals. He's been caught 13 times. And he's done a fabulous job since joining this team.
He has done everything possible to try to get Kenny Williams, the general manager of the White Sox, to give him a contract for 2010. Podsednik has been nails for them.
2-2 the count stays. So the White Sox last night held the Tigers to just 3 hits in that ball game. And we can talk all we want about Figueroa and the importance of the young man throwing a good game tonight, but the Tiger bats have to respond as well against Freddie Garcia, and the last time they faced him, they did. Strike call. They got him looking. Beckham doesn't like it. Carlson says you're out. First strikeout for Alfredo Figueroa.
Straight over the top fastball, may have been a hair low. Beckham may have had a beef there, but nice job by Figueroa, the youngster, in throwing some strikes here early in the game.
Here's A.J. Pierzynski. It is a cool evening. A little bit of a delay to the start of this one. 55 degrees, our game time temperature. Runner going and a big jump. Laird has no chance, and he holds on to the baseball. A stolen base for Podsednik.
Podsednik could have stood up. When you're a good base runner and a good base stealer, he's already seen Figueroa's move quite a few times, and apparently Figueroa was telling him that he's just grabbing it and throwing, because you don't get this kind of jump unless you really anticipate well. And having been over at first base the entire Beckham at bat, allowed Pasegna to get that huge jump.
His 30th stolen base of the year, and he gets himself in a scoring position for Pierzynski.
He's good at stealing third, although I don't think he will be running here with the left-hander in the batter's box. Pierzynski's a 300 hitter.
.303 for Pierzynski, although he is 7 for his last 41. He's trying to reach 300 for the third time in his career. The 1-1 tipped out of the glove of Laird. 1-2 on the Chicago catcher. Sporting the blonde hair these days. Pierzynski batting in the 3 slot. Of course, there have been a lot of changes to the Chicago team. Jim Thome was dealt away. They brought Alex Rios in.
And Polanco playing over in the hole at his second base position and deep, which means Everett, the shortstop, has the duty of keeping Pasegna close at second.
Drilled to right field and right at Naglio Ordonez. Hit it right at the right fielder. 2 gone. As again, all bundled up tonight, as are most of the folks in this ballpark. Here's Paul Konerko. In Figaro's second start this year, that was at Houston during interleague play, he threw 110 pitches and went 6 innings, but gave up 8 runs in that game. His first start was a dandy, beating Milwaukee. Konerko just 2 for his last 20.
It's the second slider that Laird has had to block in that same fashion, which is an indication of Figaro throwing that pitch too hard. Needs to relax a little bit and allow the slider to do what it does. And he's got a good one when he's not overthrowing it. The few he's thrown in this game, he simply has bounced them.
That breaking ball stays up. 2 balls, no strikes. The wind again here tonight appears to be blowing out toward left field. We do have a breeze.
This is where the White Sox team becomes dangerous in fastball counts. And Konerko may be their best fastball hitter.
In the air toward right field. Again, right at Naglio to retire the side. So nothing comes of the leadoff single and the stolen base. Bottom of the first coming up. No score. Tonight, Tigers starting lineup presented by Big Boy features Granderson, Polanco, and Ordonez at the top. Miguel Cabrera will bat in the cleanup spot. Then Guillen is in left. Puck will DH, and your bottom 3 features Inge, Laird, and then Everett. Aubrey Huff some good numbers against Freddie Garcia, .417 career. So we'll see if that comes into play tonight. And Mr. Garcia ready to go to work as Granderson leads it off in the bottom of the first inning and looks at a strike, 0-1. Curtis hitless in the ballgame last night, was 0 for 4. 30 home runs, 71 RBIs this year. He lifts it in the air toward left, getting in that jet stream out there. Still going all the way to the warning track. One gone. Well, the Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Freddie Garcia. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you.
Well, Freddie was cruising his last start against Detroit in Chicago through the first 6 innings before they got to him, and they tacked 7 earned runs on him. It wasn't an aberration. He has been unbelievably good in his career against the Tigers. His record career-wise is 15-6 against Tiger batters.
Jeez. Here's Polanco, who looks at a strike.
Freddie has about 5-6 pitches: fastball, slider, curve, slurve, forkball, changeup, you name it. He will throw everything but the kitchen sink at you, and commands most of it. Used to be a real hard thrower when he was younger, but the shoulder problems the last few years has caused the velocity to dip just a little bit.
1 ball, 1 strike on Polanco. Bouncing ball to the right side, straight at the first baseman Katse. And there are 2 gone.
Let's look at the defense behind Garcia. You've got Quentin in left field, Pasetnik in center. Alex Rios is in right field here tonight after having last night off. The talented rookie Beckham is at third. Alexi is at short. Lillibridge back at second again. Mark Katse is the first baseman, and Krzyzewski will more than likely catch all 3 of these games in the weekend finale.
Maglio hits one back up the middle into center field. It's a base hit. 2-out single for Mags, and the Tigers have their first hit.
Freddie has been one of the best Venezuelan pitchers of all time. He has pitched more innings than anybody out of Venezuela and trails Johan Santana by just 2 victories. So Freddie's had an outstanding big league career.
Let's see if Cabrera can get one up in the wind. Not that he needs it. Out toward left field. Get the Tigers on the board early here. Miguel was 0 for 4 in last night's opener, and he skies one in the air. Right side, shallow right field. Lillibridge. And that is that. 2-out single. Nothing after that. Just a 7-pitch hit. Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, standing the test of time since 1849. Your Motor City Dodge dealers. On demand from Comcast, a variety of entertainment for much less than a night out at the movies. And by Arby's Bacon Cheddar Roast Burger Sandwich. Try it today. It'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's. Now look at that. That's a tremendous shot.
Got to keep the little fella warm.
Got his ears all covered up, big old cheeks. Hoping for a Tigers win. Carlos Quentin leads it off against Alfredo Figueroa. A little light rain starting to fall now, more of a mist here at the ballpark. Maybe that way throughout the course of the evening. Very chilly. With some moisture now dropping here at the ballpark. Quentin, 2 out of 4 with a home run last night. And you wonder what the White Sox fortunes would have been this year had this guy been healthy all season long. He is a difference maker offensively.
They would have been much better. That is for sure. He's a 20 to 25 homer guy, and he will drive in 100 runs if he stays healthy, hitting right in the middle of that dangerous White Sox batting order.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
With the World Baseball Classic this year and the regular season being pushed back quite a few days, this is what you get in October. October baseball, a little cold, a little frigid, and some rain.
Driven deep in the air toward left center field. It looks like Quentin has done it again, and he has. Way back beyond the bullpens in left center, Carlos Quentin has put the White Sox ahead 1-0. That is the 6th home run that Quentin has hit against the Tigers this year.
Well, we talked about the fact that they have an outstanding fastball team, and even though he got ahead of Quentin here with 2 strikes, he still could not overpower him with the fastball. And that's where he's going to have to mix in some changeups. He's going to have to throw some sliders. And fastballs don't work against the White Sox unless you've got that Verlander kind of fastball.
How did the Diamondbacks let that guy get away?
He was hurt over there. Just did not perform all that well after they made him the #1 pick out of Stanford. But Kenny Williams, when he made that real quiet deal for Quentin, bringing him over last year before the season started, what a deal it has been. And Greg Walker, the hitting coach, has done miraculous work with Quentin.
428 feet on that home run. Kotsay takes outside, 3 balls, no strikes. Mark Kotsay, a veteran of several different organizations, originally Florida, then San Diego, Oakland, Atlanta, and Boston.
And the reason why he has played with all those teams, one of the things they have in common, probably with the exception of Florida, they've been some decent teams, some good teams. He's a good baseball player. He's a nice piece for a team that's on the cusp of winning, because he can play multiple positions, and he just plays the game the right way.
Inge looking for room, but runs out of real estate.
Kotsay playing first base these days, as he came up as a center fielder in the Florida Marlins organization, and also played a lot of right field as well. Before he had his back surgeries, he used to be one of the better defenders in center field. He's kind of slowed down a little bit.
Over his last 19 games, hitting at a .365 clip for Chicago. 3-2 pitch is low, ball 4. First walk of the game for Figueroa. First 2 men reach here in the second. That'll bring up Alex Rios. Rios, the right fielder, batting .243. Most of his at-bats against the Tigers this year coming in a Toronto uniform. He was claimed off the waiver wire back in August by Chicago. And a ball up high, 1-0, and time called now, and Gerald Laird will walk out to have a little chat with Figueroa.
He seems obviously to play his best baseball against Detroit, at least this year in 3 games.
Well, since being acquired by the Chicago White Sox, he's hitting just $175 overall. Figueroa in the rain trying to get through this second inning. The leadoff home run by Quentin has put Chicago in the lead.
If it looks like Figueroa is going to struggle here early in this game, Jim Leland will more than likely go to Zach Minor, his long man. And Minor has been tremendous in that regard all year long.
And it looks like they're going to get some activity perhaps in the bullpen. And there you go. It's Galarraga and Knee. The 1-1 is hit right back up the middle and into center field. A base hit. Holding at second base is Kotsay. First 3 men reach here in the second.
I like the pitch. the location just wasn't good. It was the breaking ball, 1-1, that stayed up, and that allowed Rios to get to it. Actually, it may have even been a changeup. It was straight.
So Rick Knapp comes trotting out, the Tigers pitching coach. The White Sox now have 3 hits. One of them in this inning has left the yard, the Quinton home run that went 428 feet. By the way, tonight's game is available in crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Comcast. Looks like the rain has lightened up a little bit. And now Rick Knapp chased out of there. So Jim Leland, knowing that this is a crucial, critical game, will have a very short leash for Figueroa.
I don't know how Ozzie Guillen will play this situation with Ramirez. It's a bunting situation. Of the 34 sacrifice bunts the White Sox have as a team, Ramirez has 6 of those.
Alexi Ramirez batting .274. And no sign of bunt, and he will look at a strike 0-1. A little silent protest by Ramirez as he steps out. 0 for 3 last night with an RBI. He has 15 homers this year.
Made a dazzling play at that shortstop position, though.
The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Out in front, 0-2.
Outstanding change of pace. If Figueroa can do that somehow and throw that pitch with that kind of command and with the same arm speed as his fastball, which can get to 95 miles an hour, and he could maneuver through this White Sox lineup for a few innings.
Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. It's a good start. First out of the inning and the second strikeout for Figueroa.
Threw him a straight change, then came back with a breaking ball. Well located. That replay courtesy of Lincoln Mercury.
Now Brent Lillibridge, the number 9 hitter, batting just 146. And Figueroa, a ground ball away from getting out of this inning. Foul back 0-1. With Jim Leland going to the bullpen early here, or at least getting them hot early. First question he was asked today: is there any chance at all that Rick Porcello will pitch in this game? And emphatically Leland said no. It will not happen. Of course, this would have been Porcello's turn had he not been pushed back with that last rainout against Minnesota. So Porcello tonight is a spectator. Ball inside, 1-1. It's been a heck of a rookie campaign, 14 victories.
He has pitched like he's been in the big leagues for 20 years, all season long. Lights out.
There go the runners. Big jumps, 2. Throw down to second base on one hop. The tag not in time. Laird tried to get the back runner, Rios, and just missed. So Katse gets a steal. So does Rios.
Katse just a good baseball player. He's at second base, and Figueroa's forgotten all about him. He takes off. He's got 5 steps under his belt, and Laird had no shot at him, which is why he tried to go to second, but really had no shot at Rios either. Figueroa's going to have to do a little bit better job with keeping the runners close to give Laird a chance to throw. Laird has been the best throwing catcher in the American League this year, but you have to give him a chance.
2-2. 3 steals tonight for Chicago. They've come out running in this game. Podsednik stole a bag in the first, and now Katse and Rios.
And no question this White Sox team is playing loose here tonight.
Now the 2-2. Full count. Top of the order, Podsednik waiting on deck. Lillibridge has just 1 RBI this year. And the 3-2. And it is outside, ball 4. Figueroa walked the number 9 hitter, and that's his second walk in the inning. And that's it. Jim Leyland has seen enough. He's going to the bullpen here. So with the bases loaded, Alfredo Figueroa's start will last just an inning and a third tonight. And with Podsednik due up, Futeni comes trotting in. And it's a pitching change early in this one. Courtesy of Wallside Windows. We'll be back. Come to an end, and he is responsible for all 3 men on the bases. Just an inning and a third with a couple of walks and a couple of strikeouts.
If the stakes weren't so high, there's no question Figueroa would still be on the mound. But with first place hanging in the balance, he had very little margin for error here tonight.
So Futeni will come on now to face the left-hander Scott Podsednik.
Great numbers for Nee. Opponent's batting average at 190, but much better against left-handers, and that's why he's in the game right now, to get this crucial out here of Podsednik.
Bases loaded with White Sox, and a strike call. Well, when you look at Nee's numbers, he has stranded 29 of 31 inherited runners this year. That's the best percentage in the American League. And he has tossed 11 consecutive scoreless outings. Big challenge here, though, with the bases full, 1 out. And he slings one home for a strike, 0-2 on Podsednik. Single and a steal for Podsednik in the first inning. Did not score. The 0-2. Hit toward the second baseman. Polanco bobbles, flips back to second one. That's all they'll get. A force out of the runner at second. Podsednik aboard in the fielder's choice. Score Kotze on the play to make it 2-0. And now they're going to take Nee out of the ball game. That's all Leyland wanted him for, to face Podsednik. So in a 2-0 ball game, Galarraga now will be summoned out of the bullpen. Futeni faces the only batter that he will get tonight. And here comes Galarraga entering the fray with 2 outs. So the Tigers find themselves down 2-0 early, and of course their lead is just a half game now with Minnesota winning today at the Metrodome. The Tigers need a victory here tonight to keep that one-game lead with 1 game to go, otherwise they're tied. Here's Gordon Beckham with runners at first and third. Sednick already has a stolen base. That was back in the first inning. In fact, the White Sox have swiped 3 in this game. One ball to no strikes to Beckham, who struck out in the first inning. American League Rookie of the Month in July. Beckham has had a terrific first season in the major leagues. Rios, the runner at third base. Way outside, 2-0.
When you think about all that Beckham has done this year for the White Sox, and playing a new position at third, just drafted last year out of college, and finds himself a serious candidate this year for Rookie of the Year, with about 3 or 4 other pitchers that will get some votes.
Fly ball in the air to the right. Here comes Maglio, and Ordonez will haul it in to retire the side. They get a couple of runs to break out early tonight, 2-0. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Well, Chicago on top by a 2-0 score as we go to the bottom of the second. All I want for my birthday is an AL Central championship when the Tigers can have some work to do. They're down by a pair. And Carlos Guillen leads it off. Will be followed by Aubrey Huff and then Brandon Inge. Freddie Garcia missing outside as we start things in the bottom of the second. Tigers got a hit in the first, the Maglio single, which extended his hitting streak to 11 straight. But again, only 3 hits last night against the tough right-hander Jake Peavy. Garcia, 32 years old. Delivers a strike on the outer edge, 1-1. He is out of Caracas, Venezuela, 6'4", 260. The Chief is his nickname. The 1-1. Sixth and a third, allowing 10 hits, 7 runs in his last start against Detroit. So they know they can get to him, even though he's had really good numbers career against the Tigers. Swing and a miss again. And there is a strikeout. First of the game for Freddie Garcia.
Freddie Garcia holds left-handed batters to a 192 batting average. Right-handers hit him at a 333 clip. But take a look at the glove here and the grip on the baseball. It's a fork ball, and it has tremendous tumbling action to it. And that's the pitch that works very well against left-handers, but Freddie doesn't throw that pitch that often to the right-handed batters.
Aubrey Huff is 10 for 24 lifetime against Garcia with a couple of home runs. One of the major reasons he is in the lineup tonight. It computes out to a 417 average. Awfully good. The 1-1. Huff was 0 for 3 in last night's ball game. And he hits one the other way. It's through. A base hit into left field out of the reach of Beckham. And the Tigers have their second hit.
Huff does not hit many balls down in that direction. And Beckham, the third baseman, was playing about 20 feet off the line. And it's a fastball and a fastball count, and Huff just kind of keeps his head down and allows the bat angle to dictate where the ball goes. It's a good at-bat by Huff. He didn't try to pull that ball even though he's ahead in the count. 2 balls and 1 strike. You can't do that against Garcia. He does not throw many balls right down the heart of the plate.
Here's Brandon Inge. Ball 1. Brandon as well last night was 0 for 3, batting .231. And missed outside, 2-0. Here's Garcia's 2-0 pitch. Fouled straight back. Brandon had a rip in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Inge, for the most part this season, has been a good offensive performer. He made the All-Star team this year, had a spectacular first half. Trying to play through some knee injuries in the second half. He's had 27 home runs. And he fouls off another. Inge's last home run was on September the 6th. That was at Tampa. And with Chicago leading 2-0, Tigers trying to get the offense going here in the second. 1 on with 1 out. And the 2-2. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Brandon did an outstanding job of laying off that fork ball. It looked like a strike all the way until about 5 feet in front of home plate. And it just tumbled out of the strike zone.
Three-2. Swing and a miss. Down he goes.
That is now the 15th time that Garcia has struck out Inge in 43 career at-bats. He's got Inge's number.
And that's the second strikeout of this inning. He's going to bring up Gerald Laird. Laird 0 for 2 last night, batting .228. He was lifted late in the ballgame last night. After it got out of hand, Jim Leland decided to give him the rest of the night off and gear up for tonight's game. The White Sox picked up 2 in the top of this inning. Here's the 1-0. Garcia's 15 victories against the Tigers, and we gave you his lifetime numbers, 15-6. That's the most against any opponent. Even though the Tigers got to him in that last start in Chicago. Now the 2-0 pitch. 3 balls, no strikes. Adam Everett waiting on deck. There's a strike, 3-1. It was the Mets that originally signed Garcia this year, but they released him in the month of April, and he made his way back to Chicago, his second tour of duty here with the White Sox. There's another strike, 3-2.
Actually, Ozzie Guillen said that last year when the Tigers signed Freddie Garcia, the White Sox wanted him then, and they also wanted him in the offseason before he signed with the Mets. And they have him now.
Runner going on 3-2 and a swing and a miss to end the inning. So Laird strikes out as Garcia fans the side. Tigers strand one. We'll go to the third. Night where the heaters are going strong in both dugout areas. It is a chilly night here, 54 degrees, just trying to keep warm. Tigers trying to heat up the bats as well. They have been ice cold in this series so far. And in the third, it'll be A.J. Pierzynski to lead it off. Pierzynski, then Konerko and Carlos Quentin. 2 runs on 3 hits for Chicago. No runs, 2 hits for Detroit. Pierzynski lined to right field back in the first inning. Galarraga is the 3rd pitcher used already by the Tigers tonight. That is flared into shallow left. Wind is getting a hold of it. Inge with a nice sliding play. Boy, the wind took that thing from left field and almost into the seats.
Brandon Inge makes that play about as well as any third baseman in the American League. And he can go away from that dirt at his third base position and make adjustments and just makes outstanding plays. Terrific range at that third base position, even though the knees these days are well less than 100%.
Galarraga appreciates the help, and here is Paul Konerko. Armando missing inside. Figueroa started this game. Knee came on to retire Podsednik, and then it was Galarraga. Leland not waiting long tonight to go to that bullpen, which is deep. Casey Fiend really the only guy not available tonight, but for Figueroa, not quite the start he had hoped for.
I told you earlier, first couple of starts of this year, Galarraga was pretty good. And he beat the Texas Rangers opening day here at Comerica Park, and his second start came against the White Sox. He pitched 6+ innings in that game, 4 hits, did not give up a run. Struck out 5 and walked a couple and threw 110 pitches. Maybe one of the reasons why Jim has elected to go to him early in this game. Hopefully he can put up some zeros again.
And it looked like after a couple of starts early this year that Galarraga was going to be the same type pitcher that we saw last year, a pitcher that won 13 games as a rookie.
He won about 10, 11, 12 starts and scuffing. But Jim stayed with him.
The 2-2 swung on and missed, and Galarraga strikes on Konerko.
I think one of the reasons why Jim was able to stay with Galarraga early, even though he struggled in May and June, was the fact that Porcello and Verlander and Jackson were pitching so well, and Jim knew that if the Tigers were going to win the division, they had to get Galarraga back on track.
I think he also wanted to give Galarraga as many opportunities as he could based on what he had done last year. He had certainly earned that. Carlos Quentin took Figueroa deep in his last at bat, which is strike 0-1.
Galarraga, like many pitchers in spring training, especially the ones that pitched for their country in the World Baseball Classic. If you weren't one of the frontline guys, you didn't get the normal work that you should have been getting.
Quentin hit by the pitch, and so he'll reach with 2 outs.
And therefore, Galarraga may not have been as strong in spring training. It's a good tailing fastball inside. Quentin just reacted a little late.
Which brings up an argument that many make about the World Baseball Classic. You've got guys in the month of February and March really letting it go because there's so much adrenaline in those games, maybe before they really should be. And Galarraga pitching for his country, he was pumped up and he was letting her fly.
There's a lot of guys in baseball this year that pitched in the World Baseball Classic that just didn't have great years. Guys that had some injuries. Peavy, he pitched. Roy Oswalt of the Houston Astros didn't have his usual year. He pitched for the United States as well. And of course, you got the position players too. Quentin was entertaining the thought of stealing second base there. And had he gone initially, he would have been safe.
Marcotte walked, stole a base, and scored back in the second. The 2-0.
But then you look at guys like Ichiro Suzuki, and apparently the World Baseball Classic didn't bother him. He was the MVP once again in the World Baseball Classic, and he's gone on to get 200 knocks, which would be hits for the 9th consecutive year.
He could probably play every single day.
He is 35 years old, and he's probably in some of the best shape of anybody in baseball.
2-1, hammered foul, 2-2. Ichiro's just one of those guys who's a rare breed. I mean, his hand-eye coordination, his physical ability, his body type, his speed. I mean, everything has just come together for him.
Freak of nature.
Quentin aboard with 2 outs. We're in the third. Tigers down by 2 with Minnesota already winning today. They beat Kansas City, and Zach Greinke started that game. 2-2 pitch. Runner going, and no throw. Laird couldn't get the grip. 3-2.
That's unfortunate because Quentin did not have a good jump, and the way that Laird has thrown the baseball all year, the Tigers would be in the dugout right now. But it looked like he rushed a little bit and just mishandled that baseball. I don't think I've seen Laird do that very often. At least the last time we saw him do that, it was against the Los Angeles Angels when they stole quite a few bases out west when Laird was behind the dish.
Well, the White Sox have 4 tonight. Katse has walked for the second time. First base on balls for Galarraga. That's going to bring up Alex Rios, and the White Sox getting something started here with 2 outs. Hit batter, a steal, and a walk. Rios, one of those 4 stolen bases. He's singled back in the second. Alex played in over 800 games in a Blue Jays uniform before being claimed off the waiver wire by Chicago in a move that surprised many based on how many years he has left and the money he has left on his contract.
Well, was it surprising, in your opinion, the fact that Kenny, the general manager of the White Sox, claimed him, or that J.P. Ricciardi didn't pull him back after he was claimed?
Very good question.
Usually guys that have the kind of contracts that Rios has are frontline players and tremendous players, and everybody goes on waivers. But if you get claimed, that general manager usually simply pulls you back. But in this economic climate, and as you mentioned, with all the years left, J.P. Ricciardi simply said, here you go, you can have it.
Yeah, and I think it was basically because that contract they felt was probably going to suffocate the organization the next few years. And by the way, J.P. Ricciardi was let go today.
I think I read that.
Here's the 1-1. Fouled back out of play.
They also say the only reason why Roy Halladay was not traded at the trade deadline to the Philadelphia Phillies, who probably was the most serious candidate in acquiring Roy Halladay, is that J.P. Ricciardi also wanted whoever to take Vernon Wells' contract off of the Blue Jays as well.
Yeah, so you can see they clearly were trying to dump some payroll and give themselves some maneuverability. The 1-2 just missed. Galarraga was headed to the dugouts. Or Carlson's not going to dig that. Close. High fly ball, shallow right field. Polanco back, Maglio in. Maglio can't get it. That'll score a run. Quinn comes around to score. Ordonez looked like he was going to make one of those patented sliding catches, and he couldn't grab the baseball.
It's the second consecutive night that we've watched a Tigers outfielder. It was Guillen last night with 2 outs and runners in scoring position that came in and tried to make a sliding catch and didn't get it. And it's Maglio here. You can see Maglio's lips visibly moving, saying, I got it, but did not get glove on it. Here's that play from last night with Carlos Guillen. Jermaine Dye popped up into the outfield, and Carlos simply slid a little bit too soon. Had he continued to run, he makes that play, and the White Sox don't have that big inning that they had.
Ramirez will be walked intentionally. Jim Leland about that play today said what you said about it last night. He said he didn't need to slide.
No.
He needed to just keep going and catch it.
Yeah, he could have just continued to run into the Tigers' dugout. But Guillen is not an outfielder by trade. He was a shortstop and an all-star shortstop when he came to Detroit.
There's ball 4 to Ramirez, and so that's going to load the bases, and they will take their chances now against Brent Lillibridge. Well, it all started with 2 outs, nobody on. Looked like Galarraga was cruising, and then he hit Carlos Quentin. And Chicago has picked up another run. They have Kotze down at third base, Rios occupying second, and Ramirez has just been walked. Tigers have been out hit 4-2 and trail 3-0. Ball high, 1-0.
Yeah, these are the kind of guys that kind of scare you if you're Galarraga. The bases are loaded. There's nowhere to put Lillibridge. And clearly, Lillibridge can hit a fastball. That's why most of these guys are in the big leagues to begin with. They've all been good fastball hitters throughout their careers. And he's forced into throwing him a fastball right now.
There's a strike, 1-1. One of the byproducts of walking the bases loaded, even though you like this matchup better, a guy that came in batting 146, it does force Galarraga into throwing strikes. Little margin for error. Fly ball in the air to right. Ordonez under it, and that is that. So the side retired, but they score another run. They leave them loaded, and it's now 3-0 Chicago.
It's an Every Kid, Every Sunday giveaway day with all fans 14 and under receiving a Miguel Cabrera poster. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER, or you can simply log on to tigers.com.
Tigers now down by a 3 spot. Their number 9 hitter leads it off, Adam Everett, against Freddie Garcia, and there's a strike, 0-1. Adam batting .236. He has knocked in 44 this year. In that last start, the Tigers didn't get to Garcia until the 5th inning when Cabrera hit a leadoff home run. They were down 5-0 in that game, and they added 2 more in the 6th and knocked him out in the 7th. And they'd like to start earlier tonight.
Every one of his strikeouts today have come variety of that forkball. He's got that thing tumbling today.
Here's Curtis Granderson.
There was a time when Garcia was a hard thrower, came up in the Houston Astros organization before being traded in '98 to the Seattle Mariners along with Carlos Guillen for Randy Johnson.
I've heard of him. Pretty good.
Randy headed right to the Hall of Fame when he shuts her down.
Granderson 0 for 1 with a fly ball. Freddie Garcia had some big years with Seattle. 2-time All-Star with the Mariners. That's low, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Back in those days, Garcia had a fastball that would reach 95 miles an hour. No longer does he have that same type of fastball, but he definitely knows how to pitch.
Yeah, is this a really good example here of a guy that can't quite throw as hard as he used to, but found a way to get outs?
The good thing about Garcia is that even when he was a hard thrower, he still had these secondary pitches. As a matter of fact, he used to frustrate his pitching coaches in Seattle and with Chicago White Sox because he would try to master 5 and 6 pitches when Don Cooper, the pitching coach of the White Sox, was simply trying to get Garcia to throw some good hard fastballs his first tenure in a White Sox uniform.
Tigers get a base runner with 1 out. That's a walk, first of the game, issued by Garcia. And that'll bring up Placido Polanco. Only 2 Tigers hits so far, a single by Ordonez in the first and a single by Huff in the second.
Don't think Granderson will be trying to steal a base here. They're down by 3. They don't want to give away any outs. But what Granderson should know is the fact that Garcia has already thrown several forkballs in this game today. And if he bounces one, then he's got to get a good jump off first to make sure he gets in a scoring position.
Polanco 0 for 1. He has really not done well in his career against Garcia. This is one guy that Placido has struggled with. 4 for 24 against Freddie. And a bouncy ball to third off the glove of Beckham, who stays with it and guns to first. He is safe at first base. Well, that's a pretty good pickup down there by Kotsay, who had to cross over the bag.
That may be the break that the Tigers needed. Beckham came in with 14 errors at third base, and the majority of those errors came early when he came up from the minor leagues as a shortstop. But he didn't panic there and still threw the ball down to first base. And Kotsay is not a first baseman by trade, but you wouldn't know it. He plays the position very well.
So the Tigers have something going now, down by 3 runs. They have runners at first and second, and only 1 out. Here's Ordonez, who singled in the first. This crowd is aching for something to cheer about here tonight. Maglio's base hit in the first inning extended his hitting streak to 11 straight.
Well, they got the right guy at the dish in Maglio, as long as he keeps it off the ground. Maglio prone to hitting the double plays, but in his career, a .330 batter with runners in scoring position. .330. And that's been quite some time for Ordonez. He has had an outstanding big league career. Batting average up over 300 now.
Been an amazing rise in the second half since August 1st when he was in the 250 range. Here's the 2-0. straight back. They have ruled that the ball that Polanco hit an infield single. So Placido gets his first hit of the night, and Beckham is spared the error. You agree with that?
That should have been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should have been there.
295 against Garcia, career. The 2-1. Pop him up. Right off the end of the bat. And Lillibridge hauls it in. So there's one hurdle for Garcia. He's got another big one, though, in Cabrera. Miguel popped up to the second baseman. That ended the first inning. Big swing and a miss, 0-1.
Cabrera pretty much has owned Galarraga in his career, hitting better than 500 against Garcia, and with a couple of home runs. Hit a home run off him, as a matter of fact, that last weekend in Chicago. In that fifth inning you were talking about a moment ago. Boy, could they use one of those big flies right now.
Oh, big way. Instead, it's 0-2.
Garcia's pitching smart with the wind here at Comerica Park going out to left at a pretty crisp pace. Garcia pretty much has stayed away from Cabrera. As strong as Cabrera is, it would be very difficult for him to go against the traffic here tonight at Comerica Park and drive one out to right. It's doable, but unlikely.
This will get away. Pierzynski can't fight it. It's going to go all the way to first base, where Conce picks it up. A wild pitch will advance the runners.
I was talking about that wild pitch a few batters ago when Polanco was up and Granderson was standing on first base. You knew sooner or later he was going to bounce one, and A.J. Pierzynski would have to try to block it, but he was not able to do so. Take a look at the forkball. He holds it deep in between the index finger and also the ring finger. The split-fingered fastball is usually held out on the fingertips a little bit more. Forkball a little deeper, split-fingered fastball out on the fingertips.
Chopper hit to third. Nice high hop for Beckham. And that is that for the Tigers. They threaten, do not score. Cabrera is 0 for 2, and we go to the fourth inning. Last major leaguer to also play in the Negro Leagues. That is your Aflac trivia question. Last major leaguer to also play in the Negro Leagues. We'll get you that answer in the bottom of the fourth. Meanwhile, it's Galarraga going back to work in the top of the fourth inning, facing the top of the Chicago lineup. It'll be Sednick, Beckham, and then Pierzynski. First pitch from Galarraga is a high strike, 0-1 on Podsednik, who reached on the fielder's choice, knocked in a run. He's also singled and stolen a base. He's been mucking it up already. Here's a little tapper towards second base. Easy for Polanco. One gone. Galarraga really hasn't done all that badly. He hit a man with 2 outs in the third, and then that bloop double by Rio scored a run.
He's doing exactly what Jim envisioned him doing when he summoned him out of that bullpen very early in the second inning after Alfredo Figueroa. And it kind of stubbed his toe out of the gate with a couple of walks. Stakes are high in this game, and Jim simply couldn't allow Figueroa to stay out there too long, especially if he wasn't going to throw strikes.
Breaking ball is in.
Galarraga's got that nice slide piece going today, which is pretty much his signature pitch. He's got a fastball anywhere from 87 to 92 with good movement, but when he's right, that slide piece is nice.
Beckham a strikeout and a fly ball. The first position player from the 08 draft, that's last year's draft, to make it to the big leagues.
These college kids are getting to the big leagues earlier and earlier these days.
In the air toward left. Guillen is under it. 2 gone.
It used to be when you drafted a player, whether it be a high school player or a college player, you wanted him to get at least 1,000 minor league at bats before you summoned him to the big leagues. It's not the case anymore.
Why are guys coming to the big leagues so much quicker?
Well, some of these guys, like a Beckham, for instance, played collegiately at Georgia, which is an outstanding program, and he played in the College World Series. I'm sure he probably played in Cape Cod, which is an outstanding collegiate league where you use wooden bats, and you get a pretty good idea of the talent of some of these guys, especially when you're drafting them #1. Therefore, you don't have to waste a whole lot of those bullets down in the bushes.
Yeah.
Which would be the minor leagues.
Which is what we hear about pitchers that pitch in the high-powered college programs, that there are only so many innings in an arm, and why waste them in the minors?
When you look at the body of work at a lot of the general managers these days and the scouting directors, they're drafting lots of college players. Lots of college players.
2 balls, 1 strike on Pierzynski, who hits one back up the middle of the shortstop. Adam Everett. And that's a 1-2-3 inning. Galarraga doing nice work here in the 4th. Let's get the bats going. Tigers down by 3.
The Chicago White Sox traded Jose Contreras to the Colorado Rockies, and his nickname was Senor Tumbolina, but Freddie Garcia's got a nice tumbler going here tonight. He has 4 strikeouts, all of which have come on the forkball. He's got a really nice deep grip with his pitch. You can see it in his hand. It's deep between the index finger and the middle finger, and this thing is dancing all over the place. The Tigers hitters have not been able to touch this pitch.
Been wicked tonight. Tumbleweed. Carlos Guillen leading it off. He'll be followed by Aubrey Huff and then Brandon Inge. Garcia has struck out 4 in this game. He's walked 1.
That forkball has acted as a changeup today for Freddie Garcia.
Has popped up shallow right. Lillibridge. 1 gone. Where's the duck? There's the duck. Aflac trivia question again. Who was the last major leaguer to also play in the Negro Leagues? I didn't get this one. I don't think.
I was trying to think.
Oh, Minnie Minoso.
Minnie Minoso played in every decade.
Yes, he did. He got a couple at bats in the 80s.
They used to give him 1 at bat. They used to dust him off every year.
Dust him off.
They give him 1 at bat so he could have played in every decade.
Make it sound like he was sitting on somebody's mantle. You just pull him down and dust him off.
Minnie Minoso.
2-0 on Aubrey Huff. Huff had a single back in the second, 1 for 1. Tigers have managed only 3 hits. Bouncing ball to second. But Garcia in cruise control mode tonight. 2 gone.
Of course, the first African-American player to play for the Chicago White Sox was Sam Hairston, who has a couple of sons that are playing in the major leagues as we speak. His son, Jerry, also played in the major leagues. 3-generation family, the Hairstons. One of 3. The Boones and the Bells also had 3 generations of big leaguers.
Very talented. There's a strike on Brandon Inge.
Sam Harrison was one of my first coaches back in 1977 when I was drafted out of high school and went to Sarasota, Florida to start my minor league career in a White Sox uniform. He was invaluable to helping us learn how to be minor league players.
A lot of experience?
Lots of experience. And of course, he played in the Negro Leagues as well.
Fly ball, right field. Hit pretty good. Going to stay in, though. Rios is under it, and that'll be an 8-pitch inning for Freddie Garcia, who's making it look easy so far. 4 in the books. The fact that they got to him last time, what was it, the 5th or 6th inning, they can do that again here tonight?
Well, they're going to have to start taking a few pitches. He has not thrown a whole lot of strikes, especially with that forkball he's been featuring today. Very few fastballs, not a whole lot of breaking balls. Tigers have not been able to lay off that pitch, and it's been a great pitch for him tonight.
Well, Alfredo Figueroa, I think we expected a little bit more tonight, or at least hoped for a little bit more, but Chicago got to him early.
Well, Figueroa was probably making the biggest start of his young professional career at what's at stake for the Tigers. The Minnesota Twins have already won their ball game today. They didn't beat Zach Greinke, but they scored 4 runs against Greinke this afternoon, and they are just a half a game back. So the Tigers simply have to win a game. They have backed themselves into a situation where they must win.
In the 5th inning, it is Paul Konerko to lead it off. Konerko, then Quentin and Kotze. They got 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd. Otherwise, Galarraga's been pretty good in relief here, and he's answering the bell in the 5th and misses inside again to Konerko. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Rick Knapp has been in contact with the Tigers pen where Ryan Perry is warming up. Leland mentioned today that he might be the first guy out of the pen in this one, but I think he was planning on Figueroa going a little bit longer than he did. And there's a walk to Konerko, his 3rd now, Galarraga's 3rd. That'll bring up Carlos Quentin. Quentin homered to start things off in the 2nd. The beginning of the end for Figueroa tonight. He would then go on to walk another batter, give up another hit. And Jim Leland now will apparently be going to the bullpen. Taking that slow walk out to the mound. No indication yet. Galarraga came on in the 2nd inning, has been on since, but he'll take the baseball now from Armando. And that means Ryan Perry is coming into the ball game. So another pitching change here at Comerica Park. We're in the 5th inning, and it's still 3-0 Chicago. Nobody out, and of course the Tigers need a victory tonight because in the Metrodome today, Michael Kadire was a hero. He homered in the bottom of the 8th inning with 1 out in a 4-4 game. Minnesota was trailing, or leading I should say, 4-0. The Royals came back, but then in the 9th inning, Nathan got a 1-2-3 9th with a strikeout of Martin. That was the final out, and the Twins beat the Royals 5-4.
3rd consecutive day that Nathan had pitched. But remember, he pitched here at Comerica Park that last day they were here when they were winning by 5 very late, threw quite a few pitches, but apparently it had no effect on Nathan. 3 straight days.
Interesting to see if he's able to go tomorrow. Ryan Perry deals a strike to Carlos Quentin.
Well, Perry's in there to get a strikeout. So usually when Jim goes to the bullpen, he brings him out of the bullpen to get the strikeout. You can see he has 58 of them in 58 in 2/3 innings this year.
Oh, look out. Hit him. Quentin hits the deck, and that's the 2nd time he's been hit in this game. That one came up and I think clipped him on the helmet.
Sounded like it clipped him on the helmet. Herm Schneider, a long-time trainer with the White Sox, out there without Ian to check on him. Looked like he got him right off the bill of the cap. And getting hit by a pitch is absolutely nothing new for Carlos Quentin. 52 of them coming into play today. Got a target on his back.
Huh. Well, he was hit in the third, stole a base and scored a run. Now he's hit here in the fifth, and that's perhaps the beginnings now of another inning for Chicago. They have 2 on, nobody out. And Mark Kotsay, who's walked twice, stepping in.
Those 52 hit by pitches for Quentin are in his career. But he was hit a ton in the minor leagues too. If you read his bio, every single year he led the league in getting hit by pitches.
What is it about guys? Certain guys just seem to rack up a lot of hit by pitches.
He stands right on top of the dish, for one. And he obviously doesn't recognize that ball inside soon enough, which would allow him to get out of the way. But most opposing pitchers, they have to crowd Quentin with good firm fastballs if you're going to get him out. And every now and then you get a little bit too tight. Perry's one of those guys we were talking about last half inning that was drafted just a season ago, really, and finds himself in the big leagues after just 1 year of minor league baseball. 13 innings in the minor leagues before coming to the majors this year with the Tigers out of the University of Arizona.
Many in spring training were comparing Perry and Porcello to Verlander and Zamaya back in '06. This might be a double play ball here. There's the flip for one, and the relay is a double play. Kotsay hits into the 4-6-3.
Wise decision there by Polanco. After Quentin had already been hit a couple of times in this game, had Polanco tried to tag him out and complete the double play himself, Quentin may have knocked him into left field. Therefore, he flipped it to Everett to get the out.
There's Rios with 2 away. Single, double, RBI, and a steal for Alex Rios.
Polanco plays the game the right way and always knows which situation. You've got Quentin that's running. He could have simply tried to tag him, but I know Quentin wouldn't have allowed him to complete that double play.
Ball outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. 97 on the heater from Ryan Perry.
Ryan Perry pretty much just has 2 pitches. And where he usually pitches in the game, that's all you need. That fastball you just spoke of in the upper 90s, and he's got a slider that is still a work in progress.
Is the completion of maybe getting better with that slider, the next step he has to take to be a really good big league pitcher?
That was a key pitch right there for me. The fact that he had the confidence to throw that slider in the dirt and Laird was able to get down there and block it. A lot of times young kids in this situation, when you call for a slider, they won't bounce it like that. That is part of the maturation process. You make sure you get it down, but that is probably the final hurdle for him to really take off and be a good reliever, to keep his numbers down. Something else he also needs to work in where he pitches in games. He needs to quicken up his delivery to home plate to make sure teams don't take the luxury of stealing while he's out there.
Freddie Garcia has been fabulous again tonight, scattering 3 Tigers hits. He's kept them off the board so far. It darts outside, 3-2. Rios had that big series against the Tigers last week in Chicago. Had a homer, a double, a steal. And the 3-2 pitch. Fouled away. Well, the Tigers certainly have had some guys that have come out of the back end of the bullpen throwing flames. I mean, starting with Zamaya and guys like Rodney and now Perry. Hard throwers.
Well, David Dabrowski, the general manager, president and general manager, Since he came up as a young executive in the Montreal Expos organization, he has loved guys with good fastballs.
That might drop, and it does. Base hit. That'll score another run, and Rios has his 3rd hit tonight.
Right off the end of the bat. But usually hard throwers are a prerequisite to the kind of pitchers that surface in the Tigers uniform these days. And now you have to, I guess you shouldn't concern yourself with Rios all that much. And more than likely he's going to run. He has that kind of speed over there. And we told you that Perry does not hold runners very well.
Ramirez walked intentionally back in the 3rd. Runner goes. Laird has no throw. Woo. That's another stolen base tonight. 5 of them. 5 for Chicago against Gerald Laird. Not all of them his fault.
Rios did not even have a big lead over there. The lead wasn't that big, but the jump was pretty good. And they had absolutely no shot whatsoever at throwing him out. And now Alexi Ramirez is going to receive his intentional base on balls, his 2nd, as a matter of fact.
I wonder if Laird just could not get the grip on that ball, because it looked like he had a shot. But he never took a throw down to second base. 2 steals tonight for Rios, and that's 24 for the year. And there is ball 3, or ball 4, I should say, to walk him intentionally.
Rios has not performed all that well and for the White Sox since he came from the Toronto Blue Jays, but they're hoping next year that, at least from a batting average standpoint, he can get on base a little bit more often. And when he does get on, and we've witnessed the fact that he can run. And he's also an excellent, and I mean excellent, center fielder. Could not play center field in Toronto because Vernon Wells was manning that position, but he more than likely will play center next year in Chicago.
Tigers pitching tonight with 6 walks. And they're down 4-0. Brent Lillibridge, the hitter. In this situation last time where they walked Ramirez intentionally, they got Lillibridge to fly out. This time it's a ground ball to short, and that will end the inning. But they get another run, and we will head to the bottom of the 5th inning with Chicago leading it now 4-0. Stand by wall-side windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Full moon here at the ballpark, shining over the Motor City. The Tigers trying to get the offense going. They are down 4-0. They've managed only 3 hits tonight. In fact, the Tigers have not scored a run since the 8th inning of Thursday's game against the Twins, and that is a 14-inning stretch. Freddie Garcia working against Laird, Everett, and Granderson in the 5th. 2-0. Garcia had a 1-2-3 4th inning. Here's the 2-0 pitch. He's showing bunt. 3 balls, no strikes. Chicago tonight got 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th. Three and 1. Three and 2. Laird 0 for 1, a strikeout back in the 2nd. Garcia has struck out 4 and walked 1. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Pulled and fouled down the left field line. Well, the Tigers came back from a 5-0 deficit against Garcia when they faced him in Chicago. They are down 4 runs here. And it was in that 5th inning when Cabrera homered to get that comeback going. Tigers really poured it on after knocking Garcia out. There's a drive hit well into left center field. On the move is Podsednik, and he'll get there right in front of the warning track. Garcia now has retired 6 in a row. The pitch count at 60. Here's Adam Everett, who fanned back in the 3rd. Driven deep to left. It's going to hook, and it's going to go foul. Garcia in his first tour of duty with the White Sox from 04 to 06 was 40 and 21. Back in September of 05, he actually earned the victory when Chicago clinched the Central. They did it right here in Detroit. So here he is back, ironically, in the stretch of 09 with the Tigers trying to get a division championship. Lifted to center field. Setnik coming in. 2 gone.
Garcia is trying to pitch his way onto the White Sox roster in 2010. Ozzie Guillen absolutely loves him. Even though he does not possess the blazing fastball that he once had, he still knows how to get big league hitters out.
He's retired 7 straight right now. Here's the top of the lineup, Curtis Granderson. Strike 1.
And that White Sox rotation of 2010 will be led by Jake Peavy, who the Tigers have seen a couple of starts in the last 10 days, and they have been able to do very little with the talented right-hander.
Tim Cheetah down at 3rd base, said he held up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Temperature now down to 52 degrees here at the ballpark. Had a little bit of rain falling earlier tonight.
The way the Tigers are playing here tonight, it feels like it's about 32.
Well, 14 2/3 straight scoreless innings for their offense. Bounce foul.
Andy Van Slyke with a nice pick on a cold night. Andy was an outstanding defender himself when he played. Won 5 Gold Gloves.
His son Jared plays for the Michigan football team, and he was glued to the TV today for the Spartans and Wolverines.
Good game today.
Great game. Fouled away. Overtime victory for Michigan State.
That quarterback of Michigan was gassed at the end of the
Forcier, yeah.
He was tired.
He was done. There's a Spartan in attendance tonight.
He was tired.
That rivalry had taken out of you.
Poor fella. Goodness gracious.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. So the Tigers go 1-2-3. Fifth strikeout ties a season high for Garcia.
And receive the opportunity to purchase tickets for all 2009 playoff games. Call 313-471-BALL or log on to Tigers.com.
Sixth inning now at the ballpark, and Ryan Perry back out there. Tigers down 4-0. Scott Podsednik, the leadoff man, followed by Gordon Beckham and then AJ Pierzynski. The White Sox have 5 hits. Tigers have 3. It was Figueroa to start the game. Then Futeni, then Galarraga, now Perry. One ball, one strike on Podsednik. He's been on base a couple of times tonight as he rolls that one foul. RBI for Podsednik, 48 this season. For a guy that was released by Colorado on April the 1st, went to the minor leagues briefly with Chicago and then joined the big club. It's been quite a year. Ball high, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Speaking of quite a year, how about that Colorado Rockies team? At one point in time, they were 15.5 games back in the National League West. They're in the playoffs, but they have a chance of still winning the division.
When Jim Tracy took that team over, they were 10 under the 500 mark.
What a season it has been.
Now look at it. 92 wins.
Dan O'Dowd is the general manager of the Colorado Rockies. Boy, what a job they have done this year.
In the air, shallow left field, and Carlos Guillen in foul ground. So Podsednik is out. One gone in the 6th. That'll bring up Gordon Beckham. He is 0 for 3. Beckham, a couple of fly balls and a strikeout. Right back to the mound, smothered by Perry. Beckham is out. He's 0 for 4.
The catcher, AT Pierzynski.
Now AJ Pierzynski. Laird out there to make sure his pitcher's all right.
And Comcast is telling us that the youngster Ryan Perry has touched 97 in this game a couple of times, and that slider at 84 miles an hour, courtesy of Comcast, of course. The ball right back at him. Once you deliver the ball home, you have to get yourself in a position to become another defender on the field. And that's exactly what Ryan Perry did there. A.J. Brzezinski trying to do something that no catcher has been able to do in the history of the Chicago White Sox, and that's finish above 300. He is sitting on 301 right now.
1 ball and 1 strike.
He also holds the record for hits for a catcher in the season. 151, which was his old record that he broke last night.
That's pulled down the right field line. Say what you will about Pierzynski, and he tends to get under the skin of opponents every now and then, or so they say. But he has been very.
Oh, no, he does.
Okay. There's no rumor.
There's no rumor.
Okay. He's been very durable.
He's a gamer.
8 straight years of catching at least 1,000 innings.
He comes to beat you any way he can.
The 1-2. Got him. Strike 3. Clean inning for Ryan Perry. A 1-2-3 frame. So we'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Polanco, Ordonez, Cabrera in a 4-0 game.
Has been all Freddie Garcia in this game with that fork ball that he has been featuring. He has 5 strikeouts, all 5 of the strikeouts coming courtesy of that pitch he's been throwing. Coors Light Freeze Cam, always brought to you by your Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Well, the Tigers coming to the plate here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Happy birthday. If the Tigers can provide a late gift here. Polanco rolls it to short, and a nice play by Alexi Ramirez. 1 gone.
One of the things that Garcia has been able to do, well, a couple of things. We've talked about the fork ball, but he's also had the uncanny ability to keep the ball out of the center of the plate. Even that last fastball at 86 to Polanco kind of ran in on his hands. Polanco did not hit that ball cleanly. The White Sox are playing like they're going to the postseason.
Ordonez 1 for 2. Ball 1 from Garcia, who now has retired 9 straight Tigers. The 1-0 pitch. Only 3 Detroit hits in this game. Maglio had a single in the first. Huff a single in the second. And then Polanco an infield hit in the third. And there's another base hit. 2 for 3 for Maglio Ordonez. Snap a string of 9 straight that had been retired. We'll bring up Cabrera. Oh for 2, pop up and a ground out. Strike one. Cabrera in this series 0 for 6. Still sitting on 196 hits, which is the 4th most in the American League. Fouled it off 0-2. Now the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Man, Garcia strikes out Cabrera, and that is 6 Freddie Garcia strikeouts. Well, 2 gone now, and here's Guillen. This has really been a frustrating stretch. I mean, the Tigers have not scored in 15 straight innings now, and Garcia trying to meander through the 6th here. Carlos 0 for 2, strikeout pop-up. He's never really been too concerned about his look. Driven to center field, Podsednik will get there for the outs. So the Tigers are done in the 6th inning. We head to the 7th. It'll be Konerko, Quentin, and Patsy in a 4-0 game. At Tigers.com, you can browse the largest selection of authentic Tigers gear, including clubhouse caps and t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and a whole lot more. Get your Tigers gear straight from the source at the Tigers.com shop. Well, here we go in the 7th inning. It is 4-0 in favor of the Chicago White Sox, trying to keep warm any way they can here tonight. It is chilly. It is 52 degrees. Ryan Perry goes back to work, and the pitch misses inside to the leadoff man, Paul Konerko. He'll be followed by Carlos Quentin and then Mark Kotsay. Konerko led off the 5th inning with a base on balls. That signaled the end for Galarraga. Perry has been on since the 5th. And the Tigers have managed only 4 hits in this game so far against Freddie Garcia. That is skied into shallow center field. Polanco going back, and he is there. 1 gone. Konerko retired. That's 5 straight for Perry. Now Carlos Quentin. Quinton has been hit twice in this game after homering in his first at bat. 21 home runs for Quinton this year. Limited duty because of the plantar fasciitis. Two balls, two strikes. Quinton has also scored a couple of times tonight and stolen a base. Driven to center field and hit well. Way back. Granderson going back to the warning track. And even when Quinton makes outs against the Tigers this year, they are long outs.
It's a home run in every other ballpark in this league, but not here at Comerica Park. Granderson playing a lot deeper with the dangerous Quinton in the batter's box. It took about 5 steps and was able to run that ball down at the warning track. It's 420 in center field. Granderson got a good jump on that ball, took his eye off of it momentarily, and was able to find it before corralling it.
Perry facing Kotze, who has a couple of walks, hit into a double play back in the 5th. Two balls, one strike. Now the veteran Kotze plays some first base, some right field, some left field, some DH. They have him at first base in this game. And the 2-1. Kotze stays alive, trying to keep it going for Alex Rios, who's had a huge night. In the meantime, Brandon Lyon starting to heat up in the Detroit bullpen.
Ozzie Guillen has talked about how valuable that Mark Kotze might be for his club next year. You talked about all the positions that he plays, but he also gives you a quality bat off the bench. He's an outstanding pinch hitter.
Swing and a miss. Kotze is out of there. 1-2-3 inning and 7 straight retired by Ryan Perry. Stretch time with Huff, Inge, and Laird coming up.
This day coverage begins at 12:30 with Tigers Live, and it's Justin Verlander tomorrow against John Dennis.
Meanwhile, the Tigers here in the 7th inning tonight running out of outs. They need to get the offense going, down 4-0. Otherwise, they will wake up tomorrow and be tied for first place in the Central with 1 game to go. And the Tigers tomorrow will have Justin Verlander on the hill. Aubrey Huff drills one foul. No balls, 2 strikes.
Tigers have held on the first place since May the 10th. The White Sox caught them for 1 day. But the Tigers were still percentage points ahead of the White Sox when they were tied for the top of the division. But the Tigers pretty much have held serve all year long.
1-2. The Tigers got to Garcia in the 7th, giving up 4 runs in a third of an inning in that last start. There's a lazy fly ball in a shallow left on the charge. Carlos Quentin battling the wind. And Huff is out, 1 gone.
Freddie has kept the Tigers off balance all night long.
He's retired 12 of the last 13 Tigers he has faced. Here comes Brandon Inge. First pitch in there for a strike, 0-1. Inge tonight 0 for 2. He has a fly ball and a strikeout. Garcia has given up only 4 Tigers hits in this game. It's tapped foul at home plate. No balls, 2 strikes.
Garcia has thrown 82 pitches in this game. I bet he has thrown at least 30 to 35 forkballs. At least that many.
The big right-hander has been in command of this game since pitch 1. Check swing foul back out of play. 0-2 the count stays. How much stress does that forkball put on your elbow as compared to maybe, I don't know, slider?
I don't think it puts as much as the slider. Obviously, the slider, you change the angle with your hand when throwing that pitch. But when throwing that forkball, you're pretty much throwing it the same that you throw your fastball, but the velocity is not as high, obviously, because of where the pitch starts. Freddie digs real deep into his glove when getting the grip for that forkball and simply just throws it like a fastball, but the way that he grabs it just allows the velocity to go anywhere down to from 78 to 82 miles an hour.
Here's the 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That was a breaking ball there. He has not needed many of those today. But it was a good one. It was down in an area where Inge, even if he did swing at it, he would not have been able to do a whole lot of damage with that pitch.
Garcia and Pierzynski couldn't get together on the signs. Now Freddie's ready. And the 2-2. Got him. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Inge doesn't like it, and he will chat now with Mark Carlson. 7 strikeouts for Garcia. And 13 of the last 14 have gone down.
And one of the few fastballs Freddie has thrown with 2 strikes, and probably too close to take with 2 strikes.
There's Gerald Laird. Bouncing ball to short. Ramirez ranging left. And once again, the Tigers go 1, 2, 3, 7 in the books on our way to the 8th. Rios, Ramirez, Lillibridge coming up. Washington Capitals Saturday, October 10th on Breast Cancer Awareness Night. Order at DetroitRedWings.com or call 800-745-3000.
It's been a rough go for the Red Wings in Sweden. They've dropped the first couple of games over there.
Well, hopefully, some better luck at home. Those Red Wings fans are hoping so. Brandon Lyon is the new Tigers pitcher as we go to the 8th.
64th game this year that Lyon has been in, and boy, after the first month of the season, he has been tremendous. And by and large, gets it done with that pitch you just witnessed right there. Cut fastball, anywhere from 89 to 91 miles an hour, and also a real nice slow curveball that he can throw for a strike pretty much when he wants to. Gerald Laird was telling me earlier this year that he encouraged Lyon to start throwing that cut fastball to right-handed hitters. He was not using that pitch early this year in the month of April. He was throwing it pretty much to all left-handers.
Angel will gobble this one up. And they finally get Rios out, one gone.
But when you throw that pitch to the right-handers, it looks like a fastball coming out of the hand, and if you're Rios, you start to swing at it, and all of a sudden the pitch starts to slide away from you, and when you do make contact, you hit it right off the end of the bat. That ball started right down the middle and just kind of disappeared on Rios, but Laird said he was the one that sort of, convinced him to start throwing that pitch more to right-handed batters.
And that was a textbook look at what that pitch can do right there. Right off the end of the bat.
Of course, Mariano Rivera has got the patent on that cut fastball.
There's a base hit to right field off the bat of Alexi Ramirez.
Alexi Ramirez climbed the ladder. Didn't hit it all that hard, but he found that seam between Cabrera and Polanco on the elevated fastball. Ramirez can hit a fastball and usually looks to hit fastballs all the time. Would Ozzie Guillen try to steal another base here today, I wonder? They've already got 5 steals. Although steal's not a huge part of Alexi Ramirez's game. It isn't for Carlos Quentin either, and he stole a base today.
Here goes the runner, and it's lined to right field. Ramirez actually stopped. Now he's going to hit the bag and go to third, and Lillibridge is on with a base hit. Single for Brent Lillibridge, first and third for Chicago with 1 out.
Ozzie Guillen a little upset with somebody. I don't know if there was a sign that was missed, but Ramirez took 4 steps and stopped, and then once the ball was made contact with, he just kind of picked up the ball in a hurry and was able to get himself over to third base. Don't know what that was.
All messed up, but he still got to third. Podsednik tried to drive in another run. The Tigers now are going to pull the infield in a little bit.
And the reason for that is Podsednik, one of those guys that runs from the left side of the batter's box and has speed, does not hit in too many double plays. And if you're the Tigers, you can't afford to give up another run, especially in the way that Freddie Garcia is pitching here today. Jeff Cox at third base going through a series of signs for Podsednik.
Seven hits for Chicago in this game, just 4 for Detroit. Chicago tonight with 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fifth, and they're looking for more here in the 8th, trying to spoil the party. There goes the runner to second. Here comes, nope, Laird bluffing the throw, but Ramirez wouldn't bite down at third base. Well, there's your 6th stolen base.
And really, Laird has had no shot at any of the guys that are stealing here today. The one he kind of mishandled earlier, he may have had a play down at second, but the other ones he has had no shot.
Tigers have issued 3 intentional walks in this game, 2 of them to Alexi Ramirez and now 1 to Podsednik. And that's going to load the bases, and they'll try their luck against Gordon Beckham.
The third baseman, Gordon Beckham.
They are loaded with one away and already up 4-0. White Sox threatening to blow it open here. There's the man for tomorrow, Justin Verlander, and once again the Tigers will be leaning on him heavily, as they did against the Minnesota Twins in the second game of that doubleheader, and Verlander responded with another outstanding effort.
He'll respond again tomorrow, too. He's legit.
He's done it all season long after a Tigers loss.
One of the best right-handed pitchers in the game today. Jim Leland couldn't think of anybody else that he'd rather have on the mound in a must-win game situation.
Fouled away by Beckham, 0-1. Well, the Sox, and this gets back to the point you were talking about in terms of whether or not they run a lot. Just a few guys do, but the Sox season high for steals was 3, and they have doubled that with 6 in this game.
Talked about it earlier in the broadcast, the fact that there's nothing worse playing against a team that has talent and is playing loose the way that they're playing here the last couple of days. It also helps when you got a Jake Peavy and Freddie Garcia on the mound, a couple of right-handers that have pitched really well, but the Tigers' bats haven't shown up. But you cannot discredit Peavy nor Garcia.
Here's the 1-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Tigers have trailed all day in this game, obviously with the 4-0 score, but it started early when they got to Figaro in the second. They got a couple of runs, and Jim Leland had to go to his bullpen early tonight. Was hoping that wouldn't be the case.
These are the kind of counts that big league hitters live for. 2-1, bases loaded. You know you're going to get a fastball, and usually big league hitters don't miss it.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Tried to hold up on that fastball that may have been ball 3.
Beckham making a bid for the Rookie of the Year honors.
Does he have a shot, you think?
2-3 weeks ago, I would have said no, but I think he's kind of creeping into the conversation. I still don't think he'll win it, but it's been a nice year. Swing and a miss. And a big strikeout for Lyon. 2 gone.
It's that slow breaking ball that Lyon has the uncanny ability of giving you the same arm speed as a cut fastball, but the break on the pitch, and he's throwing it from the same angle, allows him to get some strikeouts with that curveball.
Want to know how long it's been since the Tigers had given up 6 stolen bases in a game? August 17th of 03.
Yeah, before Pudge Rodriguez got here. Pudge came after the 03 season, didn't he?
Yes. There's a ball down low to Pierzynski. Inge and Walbeck were catching on that day. That was pre-Pudge.
Yeah, Pudge spent 4 years in the Tigers uniform, and he wasn't having any of that. And Gerald Laird tonight, despite 6 stolen bases with him behind the plate, has been tremendous in his career since coming into the big leagues in 03.
Here's a diving stop at short by Everett. What a play to get the force at second base. He saved a couple of runs. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit tonight, presented by Bell Tire. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, standing the test of time since 1849. Our Comerica Bank summary tonight: Chicago on top 4-0 in this one. Freddie Garcia has been masterful as he has limited the Tigers to just 4 hits in this game. Alfredo Figueroa lasted 1 1/3. Tigers have not scored since the 8th inning of Thursday night, which makes it 17 straight scoreless innings. Adam Everett leads it off and looks at a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. As Everett will be followed by Granderson and then Polanco. Here is Garcia's 1-1 pitch. Everett shoots one toward right field. That ball is down. It's a base hit, maybe more. He's going to take the turn and go for 2. And he is in there diving with a double. Adam Everett gets it started with a 2-base hit.
Maybe that scoring drought ends here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. It's a good hustling double there by Adam Everett. And the way these doubles are made is you got to get on your horse out of the batter's box. That is one fork ball that stayed up. He has had a dandy of a fork ball all night long.
Now here's Granderson. Curtis 0 for 2 with a walk. Crowd trying to get into this game. Not a whole lot to clap about tonight. 35,000 plus. Ball 1 to Granderson. That is the first Tiger in scoring position since the 3rd inning in this game. And they got Granderson to second base. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Just in case, Tony Pena starting to heat up. First time they've gotten their bullpen working tonight.
Another acquisition that Kenny Williams, the general manager, has made this year, getting him from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hard throwing right-hander Pena.
Garcia is ahead in the count, 1-2. Freddie at one point had retired 9 straight Tigers. The 1-2 pitch. Down the right field line. That ball is down. It's a base hit. Everett coming to third. They'll stop him there, and here come the Tigers now. They're getting something going here in the bottom of the 8th. Double and a single. That's going to bring up Placido Polanco. One inning that was a little bit high, and that was the second when he threw 20 pitches. Here comes Ozzie. And Ian looks like he's bringing the hook with him. 95 pitches for the right-hander Garcia.
Well, it was Everett and also Granderson that knocked Freddie Garcia out of that last start in Chicago after pitching 6 1/3 innings. Ozzie Guillen went out to visit with Freddie Garcia with 1 out in the 7th, but he left him in. And Everett singled. Granderson hit an extra base hit, and the route was on. He will not stay with Freddie too long here tonight.
So Garcia departs. They will go to the bullpen. Tony Pena will be coming in. And the Tigers 1 base runner away from bringing the tying run to the plate.
Freddie Garcia may have started to tire here a little bit in the 8th inning because he left a couple of balls up. The one that Everett hit, and then also that ball that Granderson hit. But other than that, he was sensational in this game. As a matter of fact, it's our bell tire pitch by pitch. Freddie, with the majority of his strikeouts that he had in this game, All came courtesy of the forkball. One fastball to Brandon in. Chewy froze with 2 strikes.
So in a 4-0 ball game for the first time tonight, the White Sox have to go to their bullpen. And here are the numbers on Freddie Garcia, responsible for the runners at first and third.
1 walk, 7 strikeouts.
A season high 7 strikeouts in the game. Paul's trying to get the troops all riled up here. Paul still has a lot of energy. On a chilly night, Tony Pena is your new pitcher.
He's got a good arm. He's got a good fastball in the mid-90s. 29 strikeouts against 9 walks. The earned run average approaching 4. But he's got a really good right arm.
So it's going to be Placido Polanco, who is 1 for 3 in this game. Polanco had an infield hit back in the third.
Polanco usually pretty good against power pitchers. He chokes up on the bat and simply tries to hit singles. Polanco is one of those guys that does not try to overpower the baseball. He simply takes what you give him. Doesn't strike out very often and puts the ball in play consistently.
Four 4-0 Chicago. Tigers threatening here in the 8th. First and third. A double by Everett started the inning, then a single by Granderson.
If you're Gene Lamont and Andy Van Slyke, the base coaches, you've reminded Everett and Granderson to make sure you freeze on a line drive. You do not want to get doubled off on anything that's hit in the infield.
Blanco not so sure about the first call, 0-1. Into left field, base hit. Everett comes around to score. The Tigers are on the board. It is a 4-1 game. Second hit of the game for Polanco.
One of your better contact hitters in the game of baseball today. Did not like the first pitch that was called a strike, but liked this one enough, and that he whistled one right between Beckham and the very talented Alexi Ramirez, the shortstop.
Now here is Maglio Ordonez. He is the tying run at the plate. The Tigers now have 7 hits. And the crowd getting into it. Maglio looks at ball 1. Pena now is going to have to work himself through the heart of the Tigers lineup. Ordonez up to 303. Ball outside, 2-0. Minnesota a winner today over Kansas City. On a Michael Kadire home run in the 8th inning. Tigers trying to answer here tonight and keep their 1-game lead. Here's the 2-0 pitch. It's a strike in the outside corner, 2-1. And the look on Maglio's face says it all. Just on the outside corner. 2-1 on Ordonez. He has an 11-game hitting streak. They need a big hit here. Outside, 3-1. So Pena comes on to relieve Garcia. He gives up an RBI hit, and he's falling behind Ordonez. Cabrera waiting on deck. foul, third base side, 3-2. Aguilero's last home run was on August the 16th against Kansas City. He's hit just 7 this year. $35,184 the attendance tonight. There's a line drive caught by Ramirez. Throw to second, safe. Woo! Granderson just got back.
That is a tough play. Anything that's hit on the line in the infield, you've got to get back immediately. If Granderson takes 2 steps toward third base, he is out. That is an outstanding job of base running by Curtis. Take a look here. 2 steps the opposite way, and you're done. He quickly realized that Alexi was going to catch that baseball, and he was able to get back safely.
Ordonez hit that thing right on the screws, but right at the shortstop. Cabrera with a bouncing ball to short. This could be 2. 6-4-3 double play, and the threat is over. The Tigers have to settle for 1 run on the RBI hit by Polanco, and we go to the 9th. Like they might get a few more than that. Big double play, though, ended that inning. And here is what's going on tomorrow. It'll be John Danks and Justin Verlander here at Comerica Park. And at the Metrodome, it's Luke Hochhaver and Brian Dunsing.
Now, if somehow the Tigers and the Minnesota Twins both win or lose tomorrow, then there would be a 1-game playoff in Minnesota, I would guess.
1-game playoff Tuesday at the Metrodome in Minnesota. So, who knows? Maybe tomorrow won't be the last game ever played there. But Justin Verlander, you know, will answer the bell tomorrow.
For sure.
4-1 ball game. Each team with 7 hits. And Fernando Rodney has come on to pitch now for Detroit as we go to the 9th inning in this game 2 of the series.
71st game this year for Fernando, and he's almost been perfect as far as save and save opportunities. He's only blown 1. 60 strikeouts in 70 1/3 innings against 36 walks for the right-hander. Mid-90s fastball. Every now and then he'll get up in the upper 90s, but he's got a legitimate swing and miss changeup. One of the best in all of baseball.
It's going to be Konerko, Quinton, and Kotsay here in the Chicago 9th. Ball inside, and the count goes to 2-0 on Konerko.
Rodney has such confidence in his changeup that he will throw that pitch in this count, 2 balls and no strikes, and find the strike zone with it if he throws it.
Fastball missing away, 3-0. And there's a strike. Konerko tried to coax a walk, could not do so. He walked and scored back in the 5th. In fact, he walked to lead off the 5th inning. Way outside, ball 4. Fernando walks the leadoff man. And for Tigers pitching tonight, 8 walks. Yeah, they've also hit a couple of batters. Actually, they've hit the same batter twice. Get a pinch runner now for Konerko. He's out of the game. Dwayne Wise, it appears, is coming out. Wise. So some more speed, in fact, much more speed at first base with Wise coming in. Here's Carlos Quentin. His 21st home run of the season back in the 2nd. Pulled fair right over the bag at third base. This is going to roll to the corner. Wise coming to third. They're going to stop him there, and Quentin has himself a double. 2-base hit for Carlos Quentin.
The first baseman, Mark Ponce.
And with nobody out, it's going to bring up Kase.
He has been crushing some fastballs in this series. Every time he has gotten a fastball, Quentin has gotten loose. And it really doesn't matter what the count is. He looks for that piece of cheese.
Rick Knapp coming out. It's the 8th hit now for Chicago tonight. And they are looking to rebuild that lead, which is now 4-1. Zach Minor tuning up in the Detroit bullpen. Kase is not going to hit. So yet another intentional walk. This will be the 4th issued tonight by the Tigers, which means Detroit pitching now with 9 walks.
Whoa. 9 of them?
But as we mentioned, 4 intentional. Bases will be loaded with White Sox. And Alex Rios is waiting his turn on deck. And here is ball 4.
The right fielder, Alex Rios.
So now Rios with the bases loaded, nobody out. Quite a jam here for Fernando Rodney. And it has been a huge night for Rios. 3 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 steals. Wise the pinch runner down at third. They have Quentin at second base. And the intentional walk to Kase. Strike 1. Infield coming all the way in for Detroit. Rolled foul. 0-2 on Rios.
And Rodney's got that swing and miss changeup, but the pitch of choice here may be the elevated fastball. See if you can get Rios to chase one up above his letters for strike 3. Strikeout here would be huge.
Way inside.
A little too high.
Backs Rios out of there.
A little too high.
2-2. Now Miner joined by Eddie Bonine. Late swing, got a piece of it, stays alive. 2-2 on Alex Rios. Sox 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fifth.
Rios with 2 strikes knows Rodney has that outstanding changeup. Therefore, you can't sit on a changeup with 2 strikes because Rodney has a very good fastball, but it can be in the back of your mind, and that's why he was tardy on that fastball.
Whoa. Where was that?
It's also why Laird came back with another fastball at 96 that apparently missed the bottom of the strike zone because he also knew that Rios is thinking about the changeup, not sitting on it, but thinking about it.
Freddie Garcia started this one, needed some help in the 8th. He was masterful tonight for Chicago. And a bouncing ball foul, third base side. Big time hole for Rodney to pitch out of. 9 Tigers walks tonight. The season high for Detroit pitching is 12 walks, and that ironically was at Chicago against these White Sox back in June. And another foul at home plate. This will be the 9th pitch coming up in this at bat. Little pop up, shallow center. Granderson running hard, can't get it. Base hit, and he'll kick it away, but not far enough for another run to score. Coming in from third is Wise, and now it's a 5-1 ball game.
With the infield playing in and Granderson playing at the depth that he was playing at, if you're Alex Rios, you couldn't have taken the ball in your hand and thrown it out there any perfectly than that one dropped. And Polanco playing in, so he's got no shot of getting there. If he's playing his regular position, he catches this ball. But no shot here.
A run in, base is still loaded, nobody out. Here's Alexi Ramirez, who hits a ground ball to short. Everett on the backhand will come home with it. They get the force.
Nice play.
Boy, Adam Everett putting on a show tonight defensively.
Nice play.
He was backpedaling and had to throw that thing off balance. One out, bases remained loaded.
He created a good hop for himself. He's playing in, but he can't charge this ball, so he goes back. He creates a nice hop, and then he jumps up and makes a nice accurate throw to Gerald Laird.
Now the number 9 hitter, Lillibridge. Bases remain loaded. Singled, stole a base, back in the 8th. And he takes strike 1. Long inning for Fernando. Coming on down by 3, but the Sox have scored a run to make it a 4-run spread again. Tigers in the 9th inning have Guillen, Huff, and Inge due up. And a ground ball right to the shortstop, knocked down by Everett. They'll go to second 1 and get the double play. When Killing ends the inning, they'll settle for 1 run, and we go to the bottom of the 9th. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Well, the Tigers are down to their final 3 outs here, down 5-1 as we go to the bottom of the 9th. If they cannot come back tonight, they will wake up tomorrow morning tied for first place in the Central, and they will face Matt Thornton now here in the 9th.
Thornton has been closing since Bobby Jenks has gone on the disabled list and doing a very nice job of it. He is usually their 7th or 8th inning reliever, coming in against good left-handed batters with a power fastball and a good breaking ball, but he's done a very nice job at closing lately as well.
Guillen, and then Rayburn has moved to the on-deck circle, and then in. There's a strike called, and it's quickly 0-2 on Carlos Guillen. Sox have themselves a 4-run lead in this game, but they've also stranded 13 runners in this game. There's the ball high, 1-2.
97 miles an hour. Not many left-handers that throw this hard out of any bullpen.
Here's the 1-2. Just missed at 96. Thornton born in Three Rivers. And he missed again, 3-2. At a Grand Valley State. To high school at Centerville High School. Tigers need a base runner here. 3-2 pitch is fouled away. Thornton originally broke in with the Seattle Mariners, pitched for a couple of seasons there. He was in their minor leagues for 7 years before he got called up. Last 4 with the White Sox. And again the 3-2. He walked him, ball 4. Leadoff man is on. We'll bring up Ryan Rayburn, who is going to pinch hit for Aubrey Huff.
When you come off that bench as a pinch hitter late in games and the opposing team has a 4-run lead, swing at the first fastball you get. And more than likely, that's exactly what Thornton's going to give him. And it's going to be about 96, 97 miles an hour.
Just with it 1-0. Toward left field, that ball is hooking and it will land foul.
Nice short quick swing there by Rayburn, but got the bat head out there just a little bit too soon. But a really nice quick swing. Ball down. Rayburn knew he was going to hit that mid-90s fastball, and it's not all bad to do that with that pitch if you know you're going to get it. You don't want to be late on it.
Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2 on Ryan Rayburn. Rayburn 3 for 17 with a home run this year as a pinch hitter, and he has just taken strike 3.
And Rayburn must have thought that that was a tad low. But with 2 strikes, probably a little bit too close to take.
One away. Here's Brandon Inge. Strike 1.
Thornton is a tall fella. And it's not a lot of left-handers that stand 6 feet 6, 6 feet 7 inches that throw downhill like he does with a power fastball. Tough to pick up.
0-2. Bobby Jenks lost for the rest of the year. Thornton has taken over. 6'5", 245. And that one just missed. 1-2. Inge for 3 this evening. Tigers couldn't do a whole lot with Freddie Garcia tonight. Unlike the last time they faced him. They got him for 7 runs tonight. He gave up a couple of base runners in the 8th before departing. And the Tigers got a run. That's it so far. Fly ball. Hit ground into right center field. Racing back there is Rios. And Podsednik steps in front of him to make the catch. 2 gone.
Center fielder's the captain. He's calling the ball all the way, but Rios did not take his eye off the ball, and therefore he almost had a collision.
Here's Gerald Laird. He's 0 for 3. Last chance for the Tigers. And taking second base is Guillen. He's in there standing up. Ground ball to short, and this should do it. Ramirez. That is that. And the Tigers are now tied for first place.
Well, I know a lot of people aren't happy with the fact that the Tigers are now tied with the Minnesota Twins, but if someone would have asked you way back in April or March if you would take it,